I'm Eric Parker this morning on CT21, 3 segments with 3 Connecticut mayors. We're joined by Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin talking about getting vaccines to city residents, about education initiatives to help students excel this summer, and how he's dealing with the increase in shootings in the city he serves. New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker will be joining us as well to speak on those issues. He and the mayors of surrounding cities are taking on the deadly violence that's on the rise by re-energizing a shooting task force as well. We'll talk about that. And New London's mayor is here as well, tackling those topics and talking about bringing his city out of the quarantine. It's all ahead this Sunday, June 27th. CT21 starts right now.
From Channel 3, this is Connecticut's most watched current affairs program, CT21, with Eric Parker, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
Good morning. We begin this morning with Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin. We'll start with vaccines because in about 5.5 hours from now, 2 o'clock this afternoon, the city is hosting a vaccine clinic at Cronin Park. And those city residents who get vaccinated there could win more than immunity to COVID, which is a pretty good prize in itself. Mayor Bronin, thank you for joining us. And you're talking gift cards and Six Flags, and you're trying to just get some people maybe who've been reluctant to get out there. Is that what's happening?
That's right, Eric. Look, if you go over to the clinic at Cronin Park this afternoon or on Thursday at our health center on Coventry, you get your vaccine, but you also get a chance to win $1,000 or 4 chances to win a 4-pack of tickets to Six Flags. So as you said, you shouldn't need any incentive. Protection against this virus is something everybody should want, but we figured we'd add a little more to it and encourage everybody to go and get themselves and their family and their community protected.
Now, we have the issue in your city and so many others of this reopening, this reawakening. I know one of the big things that's been tough in your city is just these empty office buildings with so many people working from home. If you're somewhere on Pratt Street or in downtown, are you starting to see some more life coming back into the city?
We are starting to see some more life come back, and it's great to see. It's been a long, hard year, and it's been hard seeing a downtown feeling so empty and hollow. But we're seeing a lot of energy come back, and some of that we're working to create. We're partnering with our local businesses. We're partnering with downtown business associations and neighborhood associations to create those activities, and activate places like Pratt Street. We a couple weekends ago was down in Pratt Street, and it was packed. There was live music, folks out dining on the streets. We want to have that every weekend. And it's not just that. Earlier this week, we announced that our Summer in the City series is back. And that means that just about every weekend this summer, there is a free family-friendly festival, either at Bushnell Park or the riverfront. Everything from the awesome Hartford Jazz Festival to the West Indian Celebration to Pride Fest. It's going to be a summer that's not exactly like normal, but it's getting back to normal in a pretty important way. But again, if we want to keep that progress going, that's why we need everybody to get vaccinated. And that's why we're staying focused on seeing this through and making this hard push, especially to get our younger folks vaccinated.
Mayor Bronin, a lot of kids aren't going to like me talking about going back to school. They're like, come on, man, I just started summer vacation. But we got to think about that, right? Are you doing work to both on academic success and COVID to get ready for the return to school?
Absolutely. Helping our kids recover from this past year is one of our biggest priorities right now. The health impacts of the pandemic fell heaviest on the older among us, but in many ways, this pandemic fell just as hard on young people emotionally, socially, and academically. And so we have built with our Hartford Public Schools a really significant academic enrichment program this summer where kids can get all the academic support that they need in the morning, but then it moves right into just fun, recreation, arts, sports, music. And we think that's a critically important part of the recovery too. So we've also, we got started early and built an unprecedented partnership to give hundreds and hundreds of kids a chance for free sports this spring. And that's going to be continuing throughout the year as well. So we're doing a lot of work on that front, but the mission of helping our kids catch up and helping them heal from this year is not the work of a summer. It's not the work of a semester. This has got to be a massive multi-year effort. That's what we're building, and that's what we have to be prepared for.
Unfortunately, the story of this summer, not just in Hartford, but in many cities, has been violence. We've seen it in Chicago and in Philadelphia, and Hartford's no different. We had headlines about a 19-year-old grandson of an anti-violence activist who lost his life, a woman who was cooking dinner inside her house, 56 years old, who lost her life. what is happening in the cities and what can you do about it? It's just been such a plague on the news, and I'm sure such a concern for you. So what do we do to make things better?
Look, it's been devastating for our community and for cities across the country. As you said, city after city is seeing this unprecedented spike in shootings and in lives lost. That's why President Biden came out this week with a really significant set of measures to try to stem the flow of guns and increase funding and support for community-based partnerships and proven anti-violence intervention strategies. We're pursuing those things here. We have already committed a significant portion of our American Rescue Plan dollars to those violence intervention strategies, to those community partnerships. We've had a pretty remarkable success because of the tremendous work of our police department in making arrests in these shootings and in demonstrating that there is accountability and there will be justice. And if you are engaged in gun violence in this community, you should expect to pay the price quickly. And but as you say, this is something that we're seeing nationally, and it's deeply rooted. I think it has a lot of complex causes, partly due to just the unprecedented disruption and total disruption to every aspect of life, social, economic, over the last year. It's partly that we are seeing an extraordinary number of guns coming into our community from places where it's easy to get them. And that's why I think the president is right to focus on that issue too.
Mayor, one thing that may be different in Hartford than some other cities is sort of the dissension coming at all sides towards the police department. You have the NAACP writing you a letter saying the police department still doesn't have their full trust. You have the rank and file grumbling about the leadership. You have a no confidence vote in the chief. So how do you initiate all these things to try to fix it when you have all that trouble with the police department?
Look, I actually think our police department has been doing a tremendous job of addressing what they can address. That gun violence cannot be solved by law enforcement alone, but they're obviously a critical part of it. They have taken well over 100 guns off the street thus far this year. They have made arrests in homicides and in non-fatal shootings at a rate that this city has never seen before, and most cities around the country don't see. And I really am grateful for that work of our police at all levels, from the leadership down to our officers who are doing the work. They've also had to deal with a lot of challenges in addition to that. We've been seeing some significant challenges of just flash mobs, parties that they've got to contain, a lot of challenges that haven't been there in the past, and I give them a lot of credit. But I think what we have to do is just try to stay as united as possible. This is one of the most difficult years for police and for policing in our lifetimes. I think our department has done a good job. I think our chief has provided strong and steady leadership, and I'm grateful for the work that they're doing.
Well, as we said at the beginning of the interview, Mayor Bronin, a lot of things are starting to open back up. We're seeing the Summer in the City series. We're seeing people going back to the office buildings. Hopefully, a lot of that will lead to a turnaround with many of these problems. We appreciate you being with us on this Sunday morning, and we hope to have you back here on CT 21 again soon. Mayor Luke Bronin, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, New Haven's mayor joins us to talk about the violence his city is seeing this summer and the steps he and his fellow mayors in the New Haven area are taking to stop it. And with so many people and businesses hit hard by COVID, what will it take to come out of the pandemic, not just intact, but stronger? New London's mayor will weigh in on that. It's all coming up. Stay with us.